Steve McElroy, this surrogate for Mayor Pete Buttigieg, former chief of staff to the West Virginia Senate and lieutenant governor, he tweeted that Sanders doesn't show any leadership unless he, quote, muzzles you. He then posted a tweet purporting to apologize to you and saying, I know people won't believe this, but actually I was hacked. What is your response to that attack on you and to that, well, purported apology from the Buttigieg surrogate?
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. And really, sometimes to cope with it, you just got to shake your head and chuckle a little bit. It is okay for liberal Democrats to attack Black women in America if we don't agree with them. In other words, Black women lead and Black lives matter. Our lives only matter and Black women only lead when we're doing exactly what you want us to do and saying exactly what you want us to say. You know, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned us about white liberals. And he laid it out, and I'm paraphrasing him, but basically he was saying that as we look at the Ku Klux Klaner and all of the people who visually we can look at and know that they are racist and anti-Black, those people we get. But the hardest part is to deal with liberals who pretend on one hand and doing all of the dastardly, nasty, negative things behind the scenes to stunt the voices and the growth of Black America. And so had that been a Trumper who said that, the neoliberals would be all over it. In the 21st century, with this man who had a prominent role within the Democratic Party in his state, a role on the Pete Buttigieg campaign, had that been a Sanders person, they would still be crying bloody murder. But because it happened to me, Nina Turner, national surrogate on Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign, a progressive woman that comes from a tradition of liberation fighters, Bree Joy and myself, throughout history, as our sister Cassie, who wrote that article, laid out, the Fannie Lou Hamers, the Ella Bakers of the world, the Erica Gardners of the world, if I could throw that out there, and bless her soul because she's not here with us, and all the other freedom fighters from generations past and the freedom fighters who live right here today, because we don't subscribe and we don't kowtow to them, then we're fair game. And Jeremy, what hurts so much, the muzzling of Black women, muzzle me. And when I think about all that my foremothers went through so that I could have the positions and the spaces that I have, so that Bree Joy and other women who may not even agree with us, who are Black women, our bodies and our minds subjugated to racism, us told that we're not pretty enough, smart enough to do some of the very things that because of our foremothers and our forefathers we are doing today. It is disheartening on so many levels. And this has nothing to do with me being prominent in Senator Sanders' campaign. This has everything to do with me being a Black woman in America, and we deal with this shit every single day of our lives, both covertly and overtly. You know, Dr. Victoria Dooley, who's a medical doctor, threw out a stat about heart disease among Black women. And she said that half of Black women in America have some type of heart disease complication. Half of us, that there are so many microaggressions and the stressors that Black women are under, that our hearts are broken literally in this country at higher rates than any other group of people. Black men, white women, Latinx folks, Asian folks, that Black women have the highest incidences of heart disease. Our hearts are broken. And part of that says to me is that all of the hell that we catch on a regular basis, whether it's us worrying about ourselves as Black women or worrying about the Black children that we love, the Black men that we love, the Black community that we love and carry on our shoulders and backs, is literally killing us. Had this been said about a neoliberal or anybody else, those pearl clutching folks would have been crying bloody murder. Had it been said about any of those women by a Trumper. See, because we ain't talking about Trumpsters now. We ain't talking about people. I mean, wrap your mind around this. We ain't talking about people who support Donald J. Trump. We talking about people who purport to be part of the Democratic Party, and this party is lifted up. Black folks, we are the only group in this country that disproportionately votes for them over 90% of the time, no matter what. Now, other groups of color, they come in and out of the Democratic Party. But Black folks, we there come hell or high water. And this is what this man said about me. I liken it to when Trump called Omarosa a dog. Now, I don't believe in the politics of Trump, obviously. But you know what? Omarosa worked for him. That was her right to do it. What I don't like, and she's a sister of mine, What I don't from Buckeye, from Ohio. But nobody spoke up. You know why? Because it was Omarosa, because she had worked for Donald Trump. They thought it was okay for that man to call her a dog. If we going to stand up for women and stand up for black women and keep talking about black women are the backbone, no matter how we sway politically, you have to come out and speak out against anti-blackness and misogyny targeted towards black women. Rejoin and I are not asking you to be, to jump on the bandwagon of Senator Bernie Sanders. But what you need to do is think about humanity and whether it's right or wrong. When people are wrong, you got to call them out. And this is a double standard in this country when it comes to black women. No, black lives don't matter. And particularly black women's lives don't matter because we are supposed to be subjected to. We're only supposed to talk about what neoliberals tell us to talk about and be on the side that they tell us to be on the side of. And when we don't do that, we are scorned and hunted. Put a muzzle on me? Really? And then they're asking a white man, my beloved senator. Think about that. I mean, it wouldn't be acceptable even if they were asking a black man to do it. But think about that. They're asking a white man to put a muzzle on me. You know what? My ancestors were muzzled. Literally muzzled in the United States of America under slavery. Bodies, minds, hearts, spirits muzzled. What I have to deal with is the fact that young black women after me will have to endure this. It don't matter how many degrees you have. It don't matter how many titles you have. You ain't never good enough.
Well, I think anyone who is watching you and has watched these years of your fight, anyone who is an intellectually honest or moral person stands in awe of you and your presence. It may not be objective, but I'm in that camp of people who have watched you over these years, and I stand in awe of what you stand for and the struggle that you represent.
Thank you, Jeremy.